family before then, right? And the last one, this is a crazy one. There was actually someone in the last cohort. I don't know if they're, if they're here or not, but if you are, you can come up and speak about it. They told me that one of their best strategies is they find sellers on Facebook and message them. I've never done that. It was so crazy I had to include it. But some, like, they would literally say, couldn't find anyone. So they hop into records and they'll literally like search this person's name roughly in the same city state, kind of like look up, where they might live, which would be this area, obviously in Knoxville, message them and take them through the whole flow. That's not the traditional use here. The traditional use would be like just another layer if we cannot find this individual. But that particular person in that cohort would pull distressed data like a foreclosure and message them on Facebook. And obviously their Facebook page is very active. They're real human beings. They're not a scam. So it worked for them. But that's just to kind of open your eyes. There's a lot of ways to find people. And the whole point of this concept is we're trying to hop into records and we're trying to push people all the way down this kind of like hypothetical marketing path or this marketing funnel to get them down to these lower areas where nobody is reaching them. And that's where the biggest deals lie. That is the thesis of deep prospecting. Now, whenever you're hopping into this as well, there's a bunch of other kind of resources here. And I have this kind of like whole path mapped out step by step. So like phase 3 would be, this exact path, phase 2, exact path here, phase 1 here, etc. And this is a nice visualization of how this whole process works. Now, I understand that most people are inherently lazy and we'll just never do all of this work to find an individual. And the best way I've ever found to do this is using AI to basically do this research for you. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what that looks like. So on page 10 and page 11, there are, these are very important resources, documents, whatever. The first one is this prompt that says Deep Prospecting Master Prompt. So if we click into this, it's going to take you to this page here. Obviously, this is view only. Let me make sure. Yes, view only. Hit file, make a copy. You're going to need this. Now, from here, I talked very briefly about AI whenever we did the county research on day 1. This is a very, very advanced prompt that guides an AI system through every single thing that I just said. And you can read it after this if you want, but level 1 is baseline like research, same as level 2, level 3, and the whole deliverable package. The whole point of this is we are trying to get our data manager. So remember on day 1, I talked about how important the data manager is. They are pulling in records here to basically say like, okay, here's this prompt. Here is the property address. Here's the filing of the foreclosure, whatever amount of data that you have available, upload it here. So the example that I give when I scroll down here, this is actually a screenshot of the notice that I was showing you guys up here. So you can literally just throw the whole notice in there if you want. I've seen people upload PDFs, like doesn't matter. It needs context. The context can be as simple as a property address. The context could be as in-depth as a 30-page document about a foreclosure. Does not matter. So at the very bottom of this prompt, it says input bundle. I'll even highlight it so we all know what I'm talking about here. This is where the context goes of what we're trying to deep prospect. Now, the part where it all clicks together and is like the craziness of it all. On the second portion here, I have a deep prospecting list of examples. So if we crack open this sheet, this is going to take you to this document here. There's no reason for you to you can make a copy of it if you want, but this is more for illustrative purposes than to really use it as a resource. I also, yesterday I talked about this, but I could not find it for the life of me. This is what my first to market data looks like how I process it. So addresses here, a little bit different than deep prospecting, but very important illustration that I wanted to show you guys. We just pull in the address information and the date that it was added, and we leave everything else blank and then enrich it. It's much easier on your uploads. And this is how we upload our first to market data. If you don't upload it like this, you can get into issues where your records don't pop up. And this is a really good example of how it looks. Now, imagine that we've gotten this, and this individual property, 813 Naples Road, was one that we couldn't reach. And this is the first one that I actually wanted to show you guys because it came from a foreclosure list. Everything here is foreclosures, by the way, if I didn't say that. And we're going to go to a tool. I need to add it to the workbook. I have just not had a chance to do so yet. I'm going to put this in the chat real quick for you guys. Now you will need like you can't do this on trial. I have no affiliation with Manus. I don't make any money from it. I objectively just test all these tools just to make sure that these are the ones that are best for you guys. So that's kind of my piece there. I think you can get away with like $20 a month to do this. And if you remember, in the very, very beginning, I talked about the pendulum theory and deep prospecting costing $1.50 to about $4 on that pendulum cost. This is where that cost was derived from. So the first one that I'll take you guys through is 813 Naples. And it was originally a level 2. Very important. This came through foreclosure and we could not reach them. Right? This took 16 minutes to run and it cost $3.90 for me. So to walk you through exactly how I did it, I'm going to come here. Remember, we had to make a copy of this deep prospecting prompt. And this is one that like, I'm trying to go really slow. Just make sure I don't miss, no one is left behind. You will come to the very bottom and input everything that is going on with this property that you have. You can do screenshots of CRM notes is another one that I've seen. Whatever it is. So I uploaded the notice in this case. Now, you can copy this whole thing, or you can just hit file and download and put it into a PDF. Doesn't really matter. I recommend to copy it though. So you would hop into this kind of main Manus page. The top left, you always want, this is going to change every month because they're always releasing new models. But my point is you want to do the highest performing one. So Manus 1.6 Max at the time of filming this on January 7th is the best model. So the high performance agent designed for complex tasks. You will click that. You will hit Control V to paste everything in. It's going to look just like this. And you can see it's the prompt, right, in this pasted context. And then you're just going to hit run. I'm not going to hit run here. You will need to add something. So you could do, can you please read above and execute, doesn't matter. Or you can just say, please read above. The point is you got to put something there for you to hit enter and actually run it. I'm not going to do this because it'll take 16 minutes. But what you can do with Manus is show replays. So I'm going to show you guys this replay of it doing this deep prospecting flow on Naples, on 813 Naples. And I'm just going to give it a second where it will run all the way through. So right now it's researching all of the following steps that I just talked about, which by the way would have taken days if you did it manually. So that was obviously a speed up version. That took 16 minutes though. And this is what it gave back. It said 1, remember, I put it in as a level 2 right here, right? And it was like, actually, this is a level 3. And the owner on record is Marwan S. Mubarak, who is confirmed to be deceased February 3rd of 2025 through the obituary records and corresponding probate court notice. This requires identifying the living decision maker for the estate, which is the core task of a level 3 investigation. And remember, this property came on our list on October 28th. So think about it, October 28th, they passed away in February. About 7 months past, they go into auction. Can't reach them. It's because the owner's deceased. 99.99999% of you would have just never reached this person because you weren't doing everything that we've been talking about all week. And it will give you a full checklist of each level, level 1, level 2, level 3, and what it did throughout that process. So an example is it could not find the tax payment history for whatever reason, and it'll tell you that by not having it checked. So that's something you would have to do, just as an example. But it went through every single thing that I just taught you or showed you in that resource guide. Then it breaks down the title and ownership. And I mean, the detail of this is insane. It's like this property has a complex history of interfamily transfers, including multiple gift deeds and transfers to an irrevocable children's trust. The most recent transfer was a non-arm's length gift deed where Marwan and Samar Mubarak granted the property address to just Marwan as a single individual, suggesting a divorce or separation. Later down, that's really important. It gives you the full heir map of all the relatives that are on file, where it has obviously the decedent, and this little marker down here breaks down if they were deceased, if they were the executor, or if they're likely the decision maker. It will say likely if it's unsure but confident. It's the best way to think about that. So it has the parents here. It looks like maybe dad is passed away. It's hard to know. Big thing here. Partner is Jola. I'm not even going to try. Jola. Ex-spouse, because it knew that they got a divorce through the gift deed transfer and all of the past that it went through, all of the children that are on file, but it found that Suzanne Saw was the actual decision maker who was the sibling of this individual. Then it tells you use this search for been verified to find the actual decision maker, who is Suzanne Saw. Their age is 59 with their confirmed address. So just to recap, it had no, if this was just a foreclosure record that you couldn't reach, that you would have written off as like not an opportunity at all, then it found that this owner was actually deceased, going through a divorce, found the entire heir map, then told you who the actual decision maker was, even though it's not in probate, in 16 minutes. Whereas, like, most people would have no idea that this was even occurring at all. And now, to like tie it all together, you would go into the system here in records. This person was already in your deep prospecting preset. So your data manager is doing this whole process. And then we're going to look up in address 813 Naples. I've already done this, but this is obviously the address that we just deep prospected. And this person originally said Marwan Mubarak. So you would click here. This is the really important part. Because remember, originally this title was Marwan S. Mubarak, and we couldn't reach them. So you can go in and edit this individual where you change the mailing address, the mailing, super important, the mailing address to whatever Manus found as the decision maker right here. Because when we go to send mail to this person, we don't want to send it to the house that is, you know, the deceased owners. We want to send it to the decision maker's house. So you change this to 1546 Cranston Drive in Knoxville, and you can obviously verify that through been verified too. But whenever you're back in records, we've already changed this. And we leave the property address as 813 Naples that we were actually reaching out to, and change the name to Suzanne Saw. That way, whenever we mail it, it's going straight to the decision maker, to her mailing address about the property address of her brother that passed away, because this property is going to auction in a couple of months. If I assure you, nobody has reached out to Suzanne, because who would have done all this stuff, and who would have had the ability to tie everything together in the very beginning, where we set up all of our, you know, folders and filters and all the presets, and then we push them all the way down where it's like, you know, we've called Marwan a lot, which we skip traced him, by the way, and this mailing address is not working because this property is vacant because no one is living there. Insane. Craziest workflow I've seen to date, I would say, in real estate. And from this point, you want your best of the best reaching out to this individual because obviously like it's a really good opportunity in general. And this particular property actually sold already. So we did not get there. And oh wait, sorry, that was her address. Let's see. One sec. I looked up her mailing address as opposed to the property address that were actually on file. So it's actually price cut and pending now. So that's to show you this works. And it's about how early you actually get them inside of the process here. And it makes sense that they also are selling right now because it's already an auction. So they pretty much have to sell. And a lot of these properties that you get in this case, it's just the speed of which you actually get through this process. And then it is the pretty much the essence of like, can you maximize all the exit strategies that you get? Because if you reach them, it is a very, very high likelihood of a conversion based off, a listing or, a deal or a complex level 4 title issue. And that's why it all matters because you're just trying to monetize as many leads as you get. This is probably, I'll give you the craziest case and then kind of the average. For every deep prospecting deal in general, the highest I've seen is every 2 people that you get in contact with is a deal. 2 versus every 10 is probably the average, if I had to guess. What questions do we have?